Sunny Hostin thought she could steer the conversation her way, but what happened next left her scrambling for words. Killer Mike, the acclaimed rapper and activist, didn't just hold his ground. He delivered a masterclass in poise and honesty, leaving Sunny with no room for her usual tricks. You won't believe how it all went down. It began like any other segment on The View. Sunny Hostin was ready with her usual gotcha questions, and the audience waited for the drama to unfold. Killer Mike started strong, discussing the importance of local elections. He urged people to focus on their communities rather than getting caught up in the soap opera of national politics. Hyper-local leadership changes lives, he said. But before he could finish, Sunny jumped in with her trademark line. As a former prosecutor, she took the spotlight to bring up his past, a Grammy incident that had nothing to do with the discussion. Without missing a beat, Killer Mike responded, "You can dislike me, but don't lie on me." The audience erupted in applause.
Lost me a little bit with your supportive camp, but let me tell you this.
Not supportive
some
camp.
of his policies.
I mean, that's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but don't lie on me. And your imagination has to be bigger than the room, bigger than the building, bigger than the sky, because if you keep the imagination alive, everything is possible.
That's right.
When you limit your imagination, nothing becomes as possible as it could be. So,
now,
yeah.
You know, I'm a former prosecutor.
Yeah.
And there were some other headlines that came out. And I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
Because it was unnecessary, and you don't do that on that special night.
Yeah.
Especially for what I read about.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna ask you is, there was an incident at the Grammys. It led to you being taken out in handcuffs and arrested.
While Sunny's smirk faded, she wasn't prepared for what came next. When Sunny tried to corner him about his hesitation to endorse President Biden, Mike delivered a thoughtful response. "I care about my community," he explained. "My focus is Atlanta, who's leading it, and what policies will help my people. National politics is secondary to what impacts us daily." It was clear, logical, and impossible to twist.
You got some attention recently for being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
What's my hope? Well, first of all, I think everyone should focus on hyper-local. We get caught up in the soap opera of federal elections, and that's fine. But if you are concerned with the federal election, you don't know who your city council or your wardsman is, you don't know who your mayor is, and you don't have a good list of state representatives or governor. My most important election is going to be in about a year and a half for who's my mayor going to be. I think that Andre Dickens is doing a great job around housing in Atlanta, and I don't want that to be lost. Even though we have a Republican governor, Brian Kemp, I have a good relationship with him. I like what he's done in terms of Georgia business. We've been leading business amongst all states for the last 10 years, and he brought back the Hope Scholarship and expanded it. In terms of nationally, I'm just kind of doing what my grandfather said, staying out of white folks' business and watching what happens. You know, I'm going to see what happens. If there's a candidate that pops up around September, October that needs a push that's really, and policy-wise is good for us, going to jump up. But for right now, I just don't want to be involved in the soap opera because I'm much too concerned about what's going on in Atlanta on a hyper-local level.
That's so
Sunny's frustration builds. Realizing her usual tactics weren't working, Sunny interrupted repeatedly, cutting him off mid-sentence. But Killer Mike wasn't rattled. Instead, he doubled down, saying, "Criticize me all you want, but twisting my words is misinformation." The crowd's reaction said it all. Sunny's attempts to dominate the conversation had backfired. In the end, Mike brought the discussion back to what matters most: integrity and respect. "I'm not here for drama," he said. "I'm here to talk about real issues that affect real people." That single line silenced the panel and reclaimed the narrative.
You lost me a little bit with your supportive camp, but let me tell you this.
Not supportive
some of
camp.
his policies.
I mean, that's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him, you
she
like
said,
his policies.
Well, I support
some specific ones he named.
Beyond it, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. But let me say this. If you criticize someone, don't lie. I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on behalf of my people. I have to do that.
Sunny's inability to let go of the spotlight exposed her disrespectful debate tactics. Instead of hosting a meaningful conversation, she chose theatrics, and it didn't end well for her. Killer Mike reminded everyone that even on The View, truth and composure can still triumph over noise.
Let me just point some of Biden's achievements out for the black community, right?
What do you think about Sonny's behavior? Did Killer Mike handle it like a pro, or could he have done something differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below.